What is this presentation about?
So this presentation is about my leadership and how it's been transformed from before I started uni to where I am now opening the shop. So it's essentially 10 slides, all of different scenarios, but it's all becoming one as me becoming a leader from nothing to want to open the shop. So
On the first slide, how is this photo a visual representation of you, and were there any challenges you faced at this time?
So this is a visual interpretation of me because before I started uni I was very isolated. I didn't interact with anyone and therefore, to answer the question, I guess there was no challenges involved, and I wasn't speaking, wasn't interacting, so wasn't using many skills at this point.
Okay. The next slide. How does this picture show a particularly challenging situation?
So this essentially shows the first day of me starting uni, before again I'd run my business. I was very uncertain as I didn't know anybody, but I had to use courage and I guess sort of commitment to get myself to uni and meet these new people. But I thought it was a very good thing to do because I'd be working with my fellow classmates for the next 2 years, so it was very important to do that. So.
The next slide. What have you learnt about yourself through this?
So this particular picture shows me being creative on a assignment I had to complete a couple of terms back. So I had to be very creative when doing this, and it's essentially showing the leadership of me starting uni, and this is again prior to me opening up the shop. So I guess there was a bit of ambiguity because I didn't know what I was doing when I started, but I used my creativity, and yeah, I think I got a good grade in the end, so I was happy with that.
Good. Moving on, how does this photo make you feel?
So this photo is just a screenshot of me completing a personality test, and I believe at the end it shows, on the bottom of the photo, it shows that I've got a high feeling rate, which I probably didn't have before I started uni. So I feel that already since I've started uni and met people and lecturers, I feel like I've sort of cared more for them, and I think this is a good visual interpretation of the start of me becoming a leader.
Okay. The next slide. Is this the start of you becoming a leader?
Definitely. So this is a very important photo for me. So I actually took this just before I signed to open the shop. A lot of complexity, uncertainty involved in this, a lot of mixed emotions, because I was unsure whether my customers would queue up for me, whether they'd buy my products. But I went for it, I took the gamble, took the risk, and again I feel like this was a big part of my leadership role because I was not used to anything like this before. It was a very big step, so I was happy to go for it, take the risk, and sort of use a bit of courage and get myself ready for it. So.
On the next slide, what challenges were you about to confront?
So this, again, I used a bit of creativity, so I used 3D Lego models to interpret me going into Chris Archer-Brown's office about a meeting for the start of the shop. So the first photo shows me as an alien, and then it goes towards me in a suit, shaking hands with him and then leaving the office. Again, very uncertain what the outcome would be. I'd love to have gotten some crew members outside the shop on the first day. But using my courage that I'd learned just from starting uni, I was able to do this, and he paid for 2 camera crew to come down on the first day. So that already boosted my confidence for when the day was to come.
Moving on, what does this photo mean?
So this is just sort of before a particular presentation I did. Again, a bit of ambiguity at first. I didn't know what the task at hand was. But by being committed and completing weekly tasks, I was able to stand up in front of about 30 people, classmates and lecturers, and yeah, I was able to boost my confidence and present a good presentation about my sort of shop, upcoming shop, to everyone. So yeah, I was happy with that, definitely.
Good. The next slide, does this photo show your improvement in confidence?
Yes, definitely. So again, this was a lot of volatility. There was a rapid change of being subject to lots of people. This was something I wasn't used to before. Obviously, when I started uni, I met 10 or 20 people. But this event in particular in Cornwall, I had to potentially meet thousands of people. And I did it. I had a stall outside, and I thought this was a good way to boost my confidence for the opening day. I thought I wasn't going to become a good enough leader if I didn't do this. So I plucked all my courage and commitment and sort of confidence together. And this photo is not showing me, but it's showing a certain angle of the street. So you can see how many people there that I had to potentially talk to. So.
The next slide, are you proud of this moment?
Definitely proud of this. This was the Cornwall Live article they did of me. Bit of ambiguity at first, but using my courage and commitment, it shows that the work really paid off. And just to think that I didn't know anyone before uni, and now I've known hundreds of customers, loads of people around uni, loads of lecturers. So to get to that stage being interviewed, I felt like shedding a tear really. So.
And the final slide, what does this say about you as a leader?
So this particular photo is very, again, touching for me. It's just as I was about to cut the rope and open the shop. And I just think that everything I'd learned, all my courage, my commitment, my confidence, creativity, everything was put into one. And again, through volatile situations, being complex at times, my ambiguity here and there, all the unknowns, I'd say I overcame all of them. And at this stage it was just fantastic just to know that there was a queue of people down the road that were waiting to buy my products. Really did make me feel like a leader, and it just shows that knowing no one can really become knowing everybody, in a sense, transforming my leadership. So I was very proud of myself, so I did it.